welcome back to our course Big Data Analytics and Business Intelligence. So our today's topic is Introduction to Scoop and Flume. In last lecture we discussed about MapReduce. So we understand how map will work, how Reduce will work, what is the role of map in Hadoop, what is the role of Reduce in the Hadoop. So we have seen that MapReduce is mostly used for processing of a data. Before that we discussed about SDFS. SDFS is used to store data. Now today we are going to discuss a role of Scoop and Flume in Apache Hadoop framework. So very first, what are the different stages of a MapReduce data processing? So there are 4 stages involved in the MapReduce data processing. One is the loading of data into a SDFS. So for that purpose we are going to use a Scoop and Flume. We know that in order to process a data, what we required, we need to store the data in the storage device. Okay, so for that purpose, and in case of a big data, we have three kinds of data. One is a structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So the thing is that very first we need to collect the data from multiple sources and we have to store it in the SDFS. So in order to extract the data from relational database, say in order to extract the structured data from relational database and store it into SDFS, we are going to use of Scoop framework. And in order to gather a live streaming data, the data, email data, comment, blog, so many, so and all unstructured data, in order to fetch unstructured data and store it into a SDFS, we are going to use a Flume. Then next phase in the MapReduce is what? Execution of map phase. Later on there is a shuffling and sorting, and finally execution of the reduce phase. So these are the 4 stages of a MapReduce data processing. So very first we discuss about the Scoop. Now I just told you there are 3 types of data we have to deal with: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. So in order to extract the data, structured data from particular resource and store it in a SDFS, we are going to make use of a Scoop. So Scoop is a open source tool designed for efficiently transferring a bulk amount of data between SDFS and relational databases. There are various relational databases are there, such as Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, DB2, and so on. So all these relational database store their data in the specific structure, say in the tabular format. So we need to fetch the data from that relational database and store it into a SDFS. So we require some framework which will carry out this particular task: extraction of data from one source and storing it into a destination, that is SDFS. So we have Scoop. So it is used to import data from relational database such as MySQL, Oracle to Hadoop SDFS, and similarly it helps to export from Hadoop to a relational database. So this is a small diagram which illustrates the use of a Scoop. Scoop is one of the framework provided by Apache Software Foundation, and here you can see Scoop is an interface between RDBMS and the Hadoop SDFS. Scoop acts as an interface between these two. So working of a Scoop, here we can see, suppose we have, this is RDBMS, so that RDBMS may be a MySQL, Oracle, Postgre, or DB2. Suppose consider that your data is present in RDBMS and you want to store that data into a SDFS. So in that case you are going to make use of a Scoop. So that is, this process is a import process, importing a data, structured data from RDBMS and storing it into a Hadoop SDFS, Hayu as well as HBase. So that is what importing. And similarly, suppose we want to export data from SDFS, Hayu, Apache SDFS, Hayu, and HBase, we need to export this data to RDBMS, MySQL, Oracle, and PostgreSQL. So at that time we are going to make use of a Scoop. So Scoop act as an interface between relational database and Hadoop SDFS. Now what are the features of a Scoop? There are various features are there. Full load means you can schedule a full load, that means you can transfer all the tables from your relational database to your Hadoop SDFS. Then incremental load, that means suppose you want to transfer only the change part, only the some part of the table, that is also possible. So this is called incremental load, the particular part of a table in which we are making changes. Suppose we want to transfer that changes to the SDFS, so that is a part of incremental load. Then parallel import and export, so at the same time you can import a data from RDBMS to SDFS, and at the same time you can export the data from SDFS to RDBMS. So import and export operation can be carried out parallelly also. Then compression is there. Scoop also allows to compress the data from RDBMS to SDFS, means there is a possibility of compression of a data. Then for security purpose we have Kerberos security integration is there, which provides the security to the data. And directly you can direct data loading to Hive directly. Scoop allowed to load your data to Apache Hive. So these are the various features of Scoop. Then next one is Scoop import and export. Here you can see this is a importing part, this is a Scoop export part. Here we have folder, so that we have gathered the data from RDBMS. So here we have metadata, that means more information about this data. Then it will provide it to map. Here reduce will not be there, only map is going to use. That map is directly establish a connection with the SDFS storage and transfer this data which is extracted from RDBMS to SDFS. So here map is going to use. So this is what a SQL import. Similarly here suppose we want to export the data from SDFS to RDBMS. So in that case again Scoop map is going to use, because map is establishing directly connection with SDFS storage, and it collects the data and then it store back to the folder of a RDBMS. So this is how Scoop import and export will work. So I hope you understand Scoop. The Scoop is used for transferring structured data from RDBMS to SDFS. Now next one is, suppose we need to transfer unstructured data or semi-structured data from external storage to SDFS. So we require some framework, and that framework is what a Flume. We have just seen Scoop is used for structured purpose, structured data, and Flume is used for unstructured and semi-structured data, especially the live streaming data, because we know that n number of servers are working, and in that server n number of web services, n number of services are executing continuously, so they are generating some kind of log. So from that log you can do the analysis of a data. So in order to analyze the data, that particular log data has to be stored somewhere. So log data can be stored into SDFS, Hadoop SDFS, and then you can do the analysis. But before that we required some framework which help us to extract this log data from these various services and store it into SDFS. So for that purpose one framework is available, and that framework is called as a Flume. It assists for moving a massive quantity of streaming data, that is unstructured data, into a SDFS. It is distributed in nature, it is reliable, and it is available for efficiently collecting and aggregating a large amount of log data to SDFS. And Flume is able to read the data from most of the sources, such as log files, system log, and a standard output of the unique process. So here you can see that various social networking sites are there. Facebook is there, Twitter is there, cloud is there. So it is going to generate a huge amount of unstructured data in the form of blog is there. Suppose you are commenting on particular post, then you are liking that post, you are going to share that post. So for your every action log is generated, and that log data is very important for us. So that suppose you are liking particular video, so based on this you will it will recommend, YouTube will recommend the video. Suppose you are sharing particular comment, you are sharing particular video, so according to your like and dislike you will get a recommendation. So that data which is generated in the various social networking site also play very important role, because that data can be used for analysis purpose, and for that purpose we require a Flume. So Flume can extract all this kind of unstructured data, and it helps us to store that data into Apache HBase, because HBase is a NoSQL database given by the Hadoop. Now this is what the working of a Flume. We have web server, as we have discussed, in the web server n number of web services are running, and they are continuously generating a log data. So that data is being extracted by Flume data source. Data source is a part of a Flume agent which helps to extract the data from web server. Then the data is passed to the Flume data channel. Flume data channel is what a temporary memory. It acts as a buffer. We know that there is a difference between read and write operation. Read operation can be performed very faster way, but in order to perform write operation, there is always a lag between read and write operation. So the data which is extracted by Flume data source from the web server, that data has to be stored temporarily in the Flume data channel. Then from that Flume data channel, the data is passed to the Flume data sink, and that Flume data sink helps us to store that data into a SDFS. So in this way, this Flume framework will help. So Flume framework consists of these three components which act as a Flume agent. First one is a Flume data source which extract the data from web server. Second one is a Flume data channel which helps to store the data temporarily, and Flume data sink which help us to store that extracted data to the SDFS. So in this way your Flume will work. Now next one is, what are the advantages of a Flume framework? So it is scalable in nature. Okay, you can increase the size, means huge amount of data you can extract from various sources and store it in SDFS. So in that sense we can say that it is scalable. Also it is reliable in nature. It has a mechanism of fault tolerant. We already know about SDFS, so it is fault tolerant in nature. Centralized data storage is there. Data ingestion is there. That means you are collecting a data from multiple sources and store it in a single place. Large data set, it can deal with Flume can able to deal with large data sets. Then in this case you need to provide what is the source and what is the destination, because it involves both import export operation. Then it is used for real-time data streaming and multiple hope laws. So these are the various benefits of using Apache Flume. So in short, you need to remember, Apache Flume is used to transfer unstructured or semi-structured data to a SDFS. So this is all about Scoop and Flume. Scoop is used for transferring structured data, and Flume is used for transferring semi-structured and unstructured data. So this is what a first phase involved in MapReduce. So we are discussing about four stages of a MapReduce. First one is a loading of data into SDFS. For that purpose we are using Scoop and Flume. Then next one is execution of map phase, which already we have discussed about map phase. Map will divide your data into a key value pair. So you are getting that output, and then you are passing this output as a input to the reduce phase. So this is what the execution of map phase. Then after that, once the data is input to the map phase, whatever the output produced by map phase, that undergoes shuffling and sorting. So what do you mean by shuffling and sorting? For example, this is a output generated by your map. After that, shuffling is done and sorting is done. Sorting is done means here you can see the Ayush, Bittu, Briti, Disha, Mona, Mayank. So all this data is arranged in a particular order, say in a ascending order. So this is what a sorting. And shuffling means what? Here actually we can say four sub files are there, but we are reduce it to two sub files. So this is what a shuffling operation. So whatever output provided by map function or mapper, that is undergo two operation. One is a shuffling operation and second one is a sorting operation. So here we can say these four sub file are mapped to two sub file. This is what a shuffling, and this data is arranged in a ascending order, that is called the sorting. So this is a third stage in case of a map reduce data processing, shuffling and the sorting. And finally after that, what we have, execution of a reduce phase. Execution of a reduce phase. So reduce phase will take this shuffled and sorted data, and then it will reduce it. It will combine it. It perform aggregation, and finally you will get a final output. Suppose you want to visualize all these four things. Okay, suppose you need to visualize all these four stages of a map reduce data processing: loading of data, execution of map phase, shuffling, sorting, and execution of reduce phase. So we can visualize all these four stages in a single diagram, which is a word count program. So here you can see input data. Suppose that data is extracted from outer sources and store it in a SDFS. Then it undergoes split operation. Then we perform map operation. then here shuffling and sorting can be takes place. After that it will be given as a input to reducing function, and finally reduce will present a final output. So this is how your all these four stages work. So I hope you understand what is the role of Apache Flume and Apache Scoop. It is used for extracting a structured data as well as unstructured data from multiple sources and storing it into a HDFS. So I hope you understand all this topic. So we'll stop over here. Thank you.